Hello and welcome back to the Eastwick Conference's film breakdown series, where I am overjoyed to be able to talk to you about Joel Embiid, who last night in an overtime thriller against the Houston Rockets put up 32 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists in 45 and a half minutes played, by far his highest minute total in a game this season. Now, he's been progressively building up to this point all year, started off somewhat rocky, in and out of the lineup. The 76er team was obviously playing quite well without him at the start of the year, but he's slowly been integrated into how they want to play. He's been playing more often. He's been playing more minutes. And don't look now, he's averaging 28 points per game in the month of January. So I want to talk about his slow return to form as one of the game's great offensive players and how Philadelphia has been integrating him in their offense, what he's done the same and a little bit different to fit in with what they have in place. So starting off with this play right here, I really like, not only are they using a cross screen there under the basket to get Joel good positioning under the rim so that he can catch on a potential post-entry pass and finish right at the basket, but notice how because the Rockets did a fair bit of switching in this game, they used Tyrese Maxey as the cross screener, so a smaller guy, Josh Okogie, ends up switched onto Embiid, so it's even more advantageous in terms of a mismatch, but what ends up happening is Kelly Oubre drives this closeout, Okogie tries to draw the charge, fails, and Embiid gets a wide open dunk, but really the process is what matters there, pun intended. Also, Alperen Sengun didn't have the greatest game and really just didn't have a lot of fun when matched up against Joel. Just got bided on that one for the putback, and then here, maybe throws a little bit of a chicken wing, but generally I think the beasting and that stare down, you can thank Furkan Korkmaz for all of that, his former 76er teammate and current teammate of Sengun's on the Turkish national team. If you want the backstory there, you can look it up. But all of those we just saw were right around the basket, where Embiid was able to catch it near the rim and finish right there. But really, Embiid's bread and butter for a while now has been working in the mid-range area of the floor, either to get his own shot in that area or to work his way towards the basket as a real post-up and face-up threat. That's what's turned him into really one of the most potent scorers the league has seen this century. This time, just note Reed Shepherd was switched once again, but the Rockets do a good job of getting rid of that mismatch by putting Clint Capella on him early on. But Embiid, because he's so talented and skilled, when he has a move like that little drop step spin, that's how I know that he's really starting to feel healthy. This time, Tari Eason, back to the basket, can just move right around him. He doesn't have the vertical pop that he did even a few years ago, but he's moving pretty well. Like here, look at that. That's a dream shake, right, on Clint Capella. The guy stood no chance, but starting from this area of the floor, working his way towards the basket, really with the ball in his hands, that is a really, really encouraging thing for me, because when I think about Joel Embiid as a scorer, it's really moments like that I think about. But then, as I mentioned, the mid-range is great for him because he is also an elite mid-range shooter. He takes a ton of shots from that area right there, just right over Josh Okogie. This time, working his way down, the help comes, so he just goes into a Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway. On the season, he is shooting 50% from the mid-range on a very high volume. There, the mid-range again when they show the help. So just generally, this is the version of Embiid, even if it's not the most peak athletically. The shot diet and the different things that he's able to get to with his spins and his drop steps and his fadeaways and hunting his own shot in the middle. Royale Ivey, the Rockets assistant coach, was complaining about foul drawing. He got 12 free throws in this game. All of those are really, really big signs to me that we are getting closer to what might be whatever we're going to get in terms of peak Embiid in 2026. And that's just a beautiful thing, regardless of how you feel about his game or not. This is one of the all-time great players you're ever going to see. But I have spent enough time talking about how Joel is starting to resemble the Embiid of the past. Now I want to talk about what he's doing a little bit differently to acclimate to this new 76ers offensive ecosystem. So when he was leading the league in scoring, taking home an MVP, he was really a game wrecker out of the middle of the floor, making defenses pay and throw so much help out of the face-up, at the free throw line, on the elbows, in the pick and roll off of James Harden, who was leading the league in assists. Now there's a different orchestrator and the perimeter for this team, and that is Tyrese Maxey, who is averaging 30 points per game in his own right. So Embiid is having to do things a little bit differently, and I think that he has done quite an admirable job of that. So he had 10 assists in this game. 5 of them were to Maxey in their two-man action, and I want to talk about them to show just how much it opens things up for Tyrese. This time, you can see at the top of the key, comes off of this first screen. You have Jabari Smith guarding Embiid initially instead of Alperen Şengün, so that when he comes off of the screen, you can just switch that action. You feel pretty comfortable with Smith guarding Maxey, even if it's not the most ideal thing. You don't feel as comfortable with Amen Thompson guarding Joel, so they do a smart thing and scram switch him out. Now Şengün is going to guard him, but now, just as a response to that, you have a more conventional matchup. Maxey's going to do a Tyrese special and do what's called a get action, where instead of just running a classic pick and roll or something like that, you give the ball to your big man and then go right and get it. That's why it's called a get action, into that dribble handoff, and now Şengün is up at the level. Maxey can turn the corner with 2 on the ball and finish with that floater. This time, you have a more conventional setup with Şengün on Embiid. Notice, though, how Kelly Oubre is clearing out this corner. Jabari Smith is going to try to fight over this screen, but because of Maxey's threat as a pull-up shooter and Embiid's general threat, you can't really play too far back, so Şengün, once again, is going to be high up. He's a pretty mobile defensive center. He's nowhere near fast enough for Maxey, and he's able to, once again, turn that corner, eat all of that space. That's why they cleared the corner out, and he can create his own bucket. This time, he's going to do another get action, give it to Embiid, come catch it right back. This time it's Reed Shepherd, who's going to get clipped on that screen, has no chance, even though he's going to fight back for the rest of this play. Şengün is in something of a high drop, but once he comes off of this screen, Maxey has enough space to work with, and he's so bursty and quick that all he needs to do is cross over, turn on the Maxey Jets, and get right by Şengün once again. You can see how all of these buckets are being created initially by utilizing Embiid's massive body as a screener and the attention that the both of them really garner from defenses, no matter how far away they are from the basket. This time, it's a little bit of a delay action. Embiid and VJ Edgecombe swap places. This time you see how glued Jabari Smith is to Maxey. He wants to try to deny the screen, really get skinny and fight through this, because we've seen the Rockets get burnt time and time again once Maxey's able to turn this corner with Şengün on the other side. And so Maxey just, all he needs to do is turn around, reject it, go the other way, and he's able to beat the help for an and one finish. And then finally, with 1.5 minutes left in this game, Philly down 2. Once again, that get action, Tari Eason's on him this time. You can see it doesn't really matter who is guarding Maxey because Embiid's going to hit him on the screen no matter what. So that get action, once again, Embiid makes great contact on the screen, and Maxey, because Şengün has finally dropped back a little bit more, you can see this is the farthest back he's been by far out of any of these clips, Maxey can just take this space and pull up and tie that game. So I think that it's really, really crucially important to recognize not only are we starting to get a Joel Embiid that resembles the all-time great player that we had for a number of years, he has changed his game in the most critical ways to synergize with the other threats on this 76ers team, most notably Tyrese Maxey. But these dribble handoff actions he can do with VJ Edgecombe. He can do them with Paul George. It really has turned his game from more of a back to the basket, make you pay with the threat of my scoring. If you help, maybe I'll make the right pass out of that, but maybe I won't be able to see it because my back's to half of the court, into a much more dynamic threat that can operate the offense, play off of your teammates, and generally just be a piece of a whole rather than the bulk of the ship that's being built. There are obviously qualms. He's not still the most vertically inclined player. I don't think that's ever going to come back. His turnovers are an issue still. That's something he's going to have to work through. But by and large, I am so incredibly encouraged by what I've seen from Joel Embiid. But more than anything, I am just ecstatic to be able to watch one of my very favorite players of all time starting to look like the player that made me fall in love with him all those years ago. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're a Joel Embiid hater, which I know several of you who will be watching this because you're going to text me about this, you're going to be hearing this and you're going to be watching this, cry harder. Other than that, have a good day.